Welcome back to Silver the Hedgehog reads Mr. Widemouth. I'm Silver the Hedgehog. Now let's continue where we left off, shall we? My mother came to me one morning and told me I had her permission to walk around outside. She thought the fresh air would be good for me, especially after being confined in my room for so long. Ecstatic, I put on my sneakers and trotted out to the back porch, yearning for the feeling of sun on my face. Mr. Widemouth was waiting for me.
"I have something I want you to see,"
he said. I must have given him a weird look, because he then said,
"It's safe, I promise."
I followed him to the beginning of the deer trail, which ran through the woods behind the house.
"This is an important path,"
he explained.
"I've had a lot of friends about your age. When they were ready, I took them down this path to a special place. You aren't ready yet, but one day I hope to take you there."
I returned to the house, wondering what kind of place lay beyond the trail. 2 weeks after I met Mr. Widemouth, the last load of our things had been packed into a moving truck. I would be in the cab of that truck, sitting next to my father for a long drive to Pennsylvania. I considered telling Mr. Widemouth that I would be leaving, but even at 5 years old, I was beginning to suspect that perhaps the creature's intentions were not to my benefit, despite what he said otherwise. For this reason, I decided to keep my departure a secret. My father and I were in the truck at 4 a.m. He was hoping to make it to Pennsylvania by lunchtime tomorrow, with the help of an endless supply of coffee and a 6-pack of energy drinks. He seemed more like a man who was about to run a marathon rather than one who was about to spend 2 days sitting still.
"Early enough for you?"
he asked. I nodded and placed my head against the window, hoping for some sleep before the sun came up. I felt my father's hand on my shoulder.
"This is the last move, son. I promise. I know it's hard for you, as sick as you've been. Once Daddy gets promoted, we can settle down and you can make friends."
I opened my eyes as we backed out of the driveway. I saw Mr. Widemouth's silhouette in my bedroom window. He stood motionless until the truck was about to turn onto the main road. He gave a pitiful little wave goodbye, steak knife in hand. I didn't wave back. Years later, I returned to New Vineyard. The piece of land our house stood upon was empty, except for the foundation, as the house burned down a few years after my family left. Out of curiosity, I followed the deer trail that Mr. Widemouth had shown me. Part of me expected him to jump out from behind the tree and scare the living bejeebles out of me. But I felt that Mr. Widemouth was gone, somehow tied to the house that no longer existed. The trail ended at the New Vineyard Memorial Cemetery. I noticed that many of the tombstones belonged to children. And that was Mr. Widemouth, a classical creepypasta written by Perfect Circle 35. What do I think of it? To be perfectly honest, I actually find this creepypasta really good. It is actually really worth reading. If you haven't read it, as promised, the link to the story will be in the description below. And credit goes to Perfect Circle 35 for writing this story. Who was the author of Mr. Widemouth. Now the paragraph structure was nice. The sentence structuring was really good. In addition, I never thought that Mr. Widemouth could actually be such a murderous creature. In all honesty, I almost expected I almost expected him to be like Pennywise and try to kill kids. Wow, that was... Now, I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna consider watching it. But other than that, I actually like the story. I so gotta show this to my friends. Now, what do you all think of this creepypasta? Did you all like it or did you not? Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. Well, I better get going. I have to have breakfast with my lady love, Blaze the cat. But thank you all very, very much for watching. This is Silver the Hedgehog signing off. See you later.